wanna go behind the scenes of PAW Patrol? Here we'll take a deep dive into the lost plans of the popular children's show and explore the many original designs and pieces of concept art that never made it to the final product. Let's start us off with this image from Wikipedia. Yeah, it looks quite different from the show, doesn't it? Focusing on the pups, we can see Marshall, Chase, Skye, Rubble, and Zuma. But we have an unrecognizable pup. We're also missing Rocky. With that, we can assume that this pup is the original design for Rocky, a beagle. Looking at this picture, you can see that there are a handful of different styles. Rocky 1.0 seems very cartoony. Zuma seems very realistic. Chase looks like a combination of those two styles. Rubble, we don't have to talk about this monstrosity. Despite the styles, the designs have stayed pretty much the same. Only minor details are different. Moving on to the pup-houses in the upper right side of the picture, we can see Rocky, Chase's, Marshall's, Zuma's, and Rubble's. I believe Skye's is vacant because she has a flying vehicle being a pilot animal. So we can see a little black on the edge of the screen, which could be her pup house. Design-wise, some of the pup houses have stayed pretty similar, like Chase's, but others have changed a lot, like Zuma. His looks like a submarine versus his hovercraft. I'm questioning if these even are vehicles, because Marshall's doesn't appear to be anything like a vehicle. Comment whether or not you think these are vehicles or just pup houses. Regarding their surroundings, we have many elements of a dog agility course, like a seesaw, an A-frame, and tire jumps. It's likely there for the pups to improve their physical skills and keep fit. We can also see a huge building in the back. There's a main section in the middle with paw-shaped windows, two tinner sections on each side, two pillar-like structures with slides wrapping around it. Also, a shed on the left-hand side of the building. It has caution tapes on the doors, oddly. Let Ryder hide in there. Anywho, on to the character concepts. On this sheet with Ryder and Chase, the style has changed to a much more pleasing one. Though it's not the same as the show being two-dimensional, I think it's as close as the art can get, being presumably hand-drawn. The layout of Ryder's jacket is the same, but there's a burnt orange palette going on here versus his now iconic red-blue palette. Regarding Chase, his design has stayed the same, but we can see that his uniform and pup pack is much more detailed here. There are no longer any walkie-talkies, and the siren has been moved from the top of his pup pack to the side of it. Also, there's no longer the strap with a bone icon on his chest. On the top left of the image, you can see a badge-shaped logo with the text Ryder's PAW Patrol. This is assumingly an old logo concept for PAW Patrol. Here in this piece named Chase Style Exploration, we see Chase with 4 different patterns in various styles. 7 is the closest to his current design, but the only version in that style. 1, 5, 6, and 9 are all the same designs but in different styles. Same goes for 2 and 3. These 2 intrigue me the most. The style of 3 looks similar to the 2010 Pound Puppy cartoon, while 2 is full of straight lines and comes off quite locky. In this concept art of Skye, the only difference from her current design is that her ears are slightly smaller. Concerning her uniform and pup pack, there's fluff on the ends of her suit, like Everest, and on her pup pack, the wings are pink with black or metal tips, while her current wings are metal with pink tips. Here in this picture, we can recognize Marshall and Zuma, who's so adorably, and I wanna cuddle him, and he's so cute. But in the top left corner, there's a pup who doesn't appear in this show. He's another redesign for Rocky, but this time his physical details aren't really that different. Same cheek floof, hairdo, and even tail. Also, you want to know something? Lil Zuma here thinks you should like the video if you're enjoying it. Oh, and Marshall thinks you should subscribe too. Now, we have this Arda Jake, someone who's appeared throughout the series, but we also have a Saint Bernard named Timber. As he appears in the same image as Jake, Timber is likely owned by Jake. At first, you might think Timber was like a prototype for Everest, but I think he was scrapped so Everest could come. You're probably confused because Everest didn't debut until season 2, though the producers may have planned to have a second season, which would introduce a secondary member, granting PAW Patrol a successful one. And we all know how that ended, though I wish they kept matching Beanie's aspect with Everest. Now, with this concept art of Rubble, barely anything has changed since then. The only things that have are the lines on his chest being removed, and switching the hammer, wrench, and pocket on his pup pack out for just the hammer. On this piece, there are 9 different girls. I believe these are the designs for one character, since many of them are wearing similar outfits. Now, I'll give you 5 seconds to think of which character this concept art is for. Go. Now, comment what you thought. The answer was Katie. You can see that the final design for Katie included the hair color, a dress from 8, and the hairstyle and shoes from 7. On the topic of Katie, we have not 1, not 2, but 3 seats for her cat, Cali. Well, her name is Calista on some of them, but close enough to assume they're the same character. On this sheet, she appears to be a kitten instead of a full-grown cat, although these tabby designs are very far from her current design. On this next one, she seems to be a full-grown cat, derived from the last cat on the previous sheet. This one gives me the personality of the current cat. On this last sheet, this concept art is closest to her current design. The purple and white have just been inverted pretty much. On this sheet, we have designs for Wally the Walrus. The end product of Wally appears to have the physique of the second design, with the snout and eyebrows from the third design. Here on this sheet, we've got cartoony drawings of many of the secondary characters. These are used throughout the series during the mission discussions or on Ryder's pup ad. Something interesting is that Captain Turbot is named Mr. Turbot. Also, on the top left edge of the screen, we see yet another version of the PAW Patrol logo. This time, they removed the word Riders from it. It's in the shape of a badge with a paw icon on the top and the word Patrol in the free stencil font. Finally, we have this model of Captain Turbot. The monotone filter and the captain's expression makes it very depressing, but that's not what's important. What this is really here for is to look at the logo. This is the iteration of the logo closest to the current logo, with the only difference being the yellow background behind PAW. The same shade of yellow is used bordering the letter of the current logo. And that's the end of this video. For those of you who enjoyed the video, I've picked out another one for you to watch, and I'll see you next time.